All right, looks like we are live on YouTube, and only YouTube because I thought about also going live on Twitter, but Twitter's live videos have a thing where they only stream in 720p, and I wanted 1080p pixels, right? And yeah, I just wanted better quality. I didn't want to lower the quality just because Twitter can't up their quality, so tough luck, betches. Notice I said with an E. And so I'm just gonna share it on Twitter so you guys can watch. What up? Hey everybody that joined. Hey Rosemary. What's up? What's up? Rosemary. All right. Live on YouTube. Without okay. So I share on YouTube. I miss you too, Rosemary. Thanks for watching this. So I get that my live streams, most of the people who watch, I assume are men. I just assume. And for a while it's been like exclusively dudes. What's up, Josh? Thank you so much for the super chat. She's not a Pardes pooper, guys. And hello. But recently, and I mean very recently, I started noticing that I have aside from Rosemary, actually, who's been like with me from the beginning, recently I've started to notice that there are very young girls that watch my live streams and videos and even read my stuff. By very young, I mean like age 17 and under. And I just want to say to you guys, I love you. What's up? You're like my sister's age, and that's so cool. And yeah, you should totally watch my stuff. And so like this video is, the title of this video is a blog post that I wrote before, and it's called How to Win as a Girly Girl in a Man's World. It's all about, like, you know, trying to make it out there, and I'm not like, you know, I haven't perfected all the skills of being a girl that doesn't burn bridges and isn't total nightmare in the workforce, but I think I'm like getting there, and I've definitely learned a lot of things. First of all, there's not a lot of things that can replace good parenting. I think that a lot of parents can really control how their girls turn out. Joe Anderson, thank you for super chats. Teach us how to win Victoria's Secret pageants, Pardes. Oh yeah, I will teach you how to I will teach you how to win Victoria's Secret pageants. Yup. They call me an angel, not just for no reason. Although the angels have been booted from Victoria's Secret because apparently they would rather have fat people, fat women, and women who have penises to model their lingerie. So, okay, I guess I will buy Fruit of the Loom from now on. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with my video? It's saying that, and there's something wrong with it that's inappropriate about my video? What's inappropriate about my video? That's what YouTube is saying. Did I say anything inappropriate here? I don't remember, honestly. Maybe I did. So, I complained this morning about women being really hard to do business with. And, like, you know, just specific experience that triggered it, but just in general, like, in DC and LA, I mean, basically most of my working life, I have been working alongside men. So I haven't like had to deal with a lot of women. But in the context of like being at the office, I mean, being at the office, the problems I had were never with women, because I didn't work alongside women. I was mostly working alongside men. The problems that I had with that was never drama and like, you know, high intense emotions. It was more just being really bored. Because like a lot of the guys that I worked with were super nice, but like they just didn't. And it was fine. Like it's totally fine. But like they just would and I actually like it's good. But they would just like sit at their computer and do their thing and just like never have a conversation with you ever, and that's just, they're fine with that. So it Airbnb and business and trying to in real estate, being a real estate agent and all these other things that are like out in the real world, doing business with women, serving women, all these things. I feel like very enlightened about why people don't like to do business with women, because women are the most dramatic, needy, in your face, obsessive like people out there. I'm talking about myself too, but it's hard to see problems with yourself. It's easier to see, unless like there's a mirror, like it's easier to see it when other people are doing it. And oh my gosh, it is really, really hard to do business with women and deal with them. Like all the problems I ever had with, and really all like the serious problems I've had that like, you know, got my blood rushing and made me like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna, this, that. It was always with young women, not even old, like older women are usually fine. It's young women, like women in their, and not even like teenage women, like women in their 20s and 30s is what I'll say. And like there's always something happening, like always like a life crisis. They're running away from something, they're, you know, freaking out about something, this and that. It's fun to have, it's fun in any context other than business. That's what I'll say. It's not fun to do business with. Like it's not fun when your livelihood is on the line. I'll give you an example. Like as a restaurant waitress, oh man. Okay. So, as a restaurant waitress, I've worked as a restaurant waitress many times. So, as a restaurant waitress, I noticed that guys will like walk in, they'll order their food, they'll sit down, they will eat their food, and then they will leave, like, and they'll leave like a great tip usually, or just a normal tip. I mean, it's just not, you know, you're not really worried about them. They're just like, they come in, they leave, they don't leave an impression. You don't remember how the guy looks like, you don't remember what he did, just did his thing, and you got your money, and your day is over. the women are the ones that will make your life miserable. They will come in there, and I feel bad that I'm yelling this out loud. I'm sorry if there's any women around here listening. I'm a woman, so I'm allowed to say this. So they'll come in and like they'll have a million requests. There's a problem with everything. I'm sorry, but like I don't like the way the water tastes. The water tastes like a little bit weird, and I think there's something wrong with the way that the chicken was cooked. Are you sure that it was cooked okay? You know, like, what is this stain on the table? Does this mean, did they clean the table properly? Like, just, and it's like, yeah, no, that's a scratch in the table. This, I don't know, that's how the water tastes here. Like, okay, do you, alright, do you want me to tell them to season the chicken differently? I don't know, like, just like a million problems. And they will force you to lose business from other customers because your entire time is spent on them, and you do it because you want to be a good, you know, you want to like customer service, you want to make money, and then so you do it, and you become like their mom for hours, or maybe 4 hours, because also another thing about so they're there with their friends and they want to talk, and so they'll talk for hours, and so like so they take up, you know, like hours of your time, and with a million requests, and so you become like their mom or father, whatever, and for hours, and then when it's done, they of course they never tip well, and sometimes they don't even tip because they're just not used to paying, because they're just used to like having somebody else pay for them sometimes. And this is a gross overgeneralization, and I'm so sorry for saying this, because like I know how it feels, and I hate like having to pay for the sins of other women, but like the only way that we are ever going to eradicate sexism is if we acknowledge that there are problems with the way that we are acting. And like, first of all, like, parents need to teach their girls to be independent and to take care of themselves and to not baby them for every little thing. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be a crazy feminist. I'm trying to be like a normal, rational person. Don't you want your girls to learn how to take care of themselves instead of being a freaking leech their entire lives and being like, you know, treating every single person they meet like their new parent, because they just never can grow out of being off their parents their entire life? Yeah, like, the only way to eradicate sexism of your gender, whatever your gender is, like, is to try to make it better and be like a good example. Josh says, what's funny though is I got my best tips from women when I was a waiter. They are way more needy though. Oh, well, that's good. I actually did get great tips from women too. Like, now that I think about it, I did get great tips from women too, but it wasn't for also women. Like, there weren't a lot of problem men. Actually, there were never problem men. There were always mostly problem women. Rosemary says, Pardes speaks the truth. Some women hurt everyone in innovative ways in social situations. And by the way, Rosemary is, because like I know Rosemary personally, and she's like the opposite of all these things that I talk about. She's like the most easy to get along with person on planet Earth, and like the most stable. So I really appreciate that a lot. Kevin says you look like you're in the backyard of one of those yokels from Deliverance. What is that? Is that like a movie or something? The yokels? So, yeah. Airbnb. I did Airbnb a lot in the past. Georgia. So I did Airbnb a lot in the past, and it was like the same story with that. Like, the guys, they would come in, leave, like, never talk to me, never have anything to do with me, like, you know, never move anything around. Like, they didn't have, like they just, you know, they did their thing. You know, like, if they were going to a conference or a work-related thing, whatever, they would go do their thing, go back, sleep, maybe watch TV. But the women, oh my God, first of all, they were always, like, sneaking in guys, and they always, like, you know, were trying to get a bargain, try to get their money back for this or that, trying to, like, you know, had a million complaints, a million questions, a million, like, just always a headache. Changed their mind a bunch of times. And I'm like this too. I'm always trying to get a bargain. I'm always changing my mind a bunch of times. If I go out to a bar or a restaurant or something, like, it's really hard for me to decide what kind of drink I want or what kind of food. I don't know. Like, I get it a lot. And I recognize that I have this problem too. But I just wish there was a little bit more strive to push to not be like that. Because, the cool thing about being a woman is that because so many women are so hard to deal with, first of all, two things that are really great about being a woman. You can get people to do, you can use being a woman, like, to get ahead a lot. If you, and all you need to do is not act like a crazy psycho. If you don't act like a crazy psycho, you literally don't have to do anything that smart or amazing to get ahead in life. You literally just have to do whatever you were gonna do anyway. And people will freaking worship you. That's like a pretty awesome thing to have as a girl. And so, like, your focus in life does not have to be, like, being the most amazing person I can ever be and being, like, the smart, like, your main focus in life should be, like, being mentally stable and healthy and do the things that you want to do, and, like, become strong and independent, become financially independent. Like, do everything that's gonna make you, help you be, like, healthy and stable. Work out every day just to be healthy and stable, but you really don't have to look that amazing. Yeah. So, and just don't, and if you feel like in business, in, you know, in the workplace, if you feel like you're about to have a psycho trigger, like you're about to become psycho or act psycho, like, just stop talking to everybody, go home, turn off your phone, and, like, do not contact anybody and wait for, because the thing about guys in the workplace and everywhere is that they are just, like, they just freak out and they don't know how to handle women. Like, I mean, I freak out about women, but I feel like I can handle other women better than men can handle women, for sure. Having a psycho freak out in the workplace with guys around is way worse than having a psycho freak out in the workplace with women around. So definitely do not communicate or have anything to do, because women are pretty understanding about that kind of thing, because they're women, so they like do it themselves, and they can be soothing to you, and they might be able to help you talk through it. But having a psycho freak out meltdown around men, you're just not gonna get anything done ever, because those guys are gonna get freaked out. They're not gonna know what hit them. Do I sound really scattered today? I think I sound very scattered today. Thanks for the super chat, other women. Not guys on Valium. I'm reading the comments. Jason can handle any psycho girl that comes his way. Actually, no, I'm actually serious. Scott says, men built the world you live in. I agree. And I'm not saying that's not true. I would not disagree in anything I said. I'm just giving advice to women, although this live stream is probably like 95% men watching, but I still feel like I should talk to women, because sometime in the future, like, some women might watch this. And if even one, besides Rosemary, and if even one woman, and Rosemary doesn't, let's see, Josh's comment, did I read Josh's comment? I don't know. Stefan says, guys already have the short end of the stick in life as is. You cannot think that way. You're literally acting like the same people. You're acting like women when women are like, oh, our lives are so shitty. We have nothing and we're victims and we're never gonna make money. Like, you can't think that way, because that just makes you a victim, and that you're like weakening yourself like that. Why would you want to weaken yourself? That's not a helpful thing. Oh, Josh on Instagram. Oh yeah. Sorry about, yeah, I should reach out to you. Oh yeah. Anyway. Joe says, what is the temperature in Texas? It's not cold. It's not hot. It's like pretty good. Still wearing this jacket thing. Really itchy. There's so many bugs. If I show you my legs, it looks like I have chicken pox, like really bad, like shingles, like just bites all over, up and down, and they're like bright red. Like, it looks like boils. I mean, it doesn't look like normal bites. It's crazy. Nate says, if you're a man, you're more likely to die in a deadly assault than a woman is. Yeah, but that's, I mean, like, men are risk takers, and they fight each other. I don't know. Don't take crazy risks, and don't fight people. Like, don't die. Don't go in a gunfight. But no one is disadvantaged. Like, don't, like, everyone's got their struggles, but you can't go like you have bad luck, or like, everything is out to get you, and like, you're never gonna make it. You have different strengths. I mean, you have the strength as a guy, you have a strength of I wish that I had the strength that guys had of being unemotional. As emotionally, how do I describe this? I mean, there's pros and cons, but sometimes, like, I wish that I wasn't as emotionally volatile as I am. Like, I wish I was more, like, emotionally like men, where they're just, like, the same constantly. You know what you're getting. If they're dumb, but, like, it's gonna be the same amount of whatever they are. With women, I just feel like sometimes it's more, like, up and down. With myself, I mean. And, there has to be a lot of effort placed into, like, not being up and down. What up, Prodigal Heel? How's it going? Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for that. There's different strengths and weaknesses that we all have. Nate says men live less than women because they work more dangerous jobs and go to war. They're more likely to suffer from depression and drug addiction and homelessness over women. Yeah, but that's because of the social thing also. Men need to socialize more than they do. Women, like, if a woman has a problem, she's gonna, like, talk about it. And sometimes really in inappropriate places, like the workplace, so don't do that, girl. We're more likely to talk about our problems. Literally what I'm about, my whatever issues that I have with women in the workplace. Prodigal Heel says emotionally volatile like Johnny Depp. Have you ever heard of Johnny Depp's girlfriend or wife or whatever? She literally tried to stab him once. Yeah, emotionally volatile like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is attracted. So I get that the thing is, like, you can't be a guy that's, like, normal, that's attracted to, like, that is emotionally, like, not volatile, that's attracted to a girl like that. But apparently he was, like, wrestled and abused by his girlfriend. Unless I'm saying it wrong. What was I saying before? Oh yeah, so as a girl, yeah, women are just, like, more, this is really, I need to, like, women are just more likely to share our problems with people. So we're more emotionally comfortable, open with ourselves, connected to our inner selves or whatever. Amber Heard, that's the lady that Johnny Depp was engaged to or married to or something like that. Yeah, Amber Heard. Amber Turd. Stefan says, don't be in an abusive relationship. Agreed. Sometimes it's addictive, though. Like, some people stay in really bad relationships because they, deep down, don't think that they can do any better. But regardless of whether it's an abusive relationship or not, I think it's important to know that it's not that you can do better, it's that you don't need that relationship. You shouldn't need that relationship. First and foremost, you need your own sanity, and you need to be a healthy person, can live alone if they needed to. Not that, like, your goal shouldn't be to be alone, but your goal should be that you can be alone if you needed to. And, like, you need to be able to prove that to yourself. Like, you can be healthy on yourself, you can, Amber Heard says, Abby stabbing fools. So that should be your goal. And I feel like if you can get a handle on being okay for a while, you're not gonna fall in it. You're not gonna like fall into these, you're like gonna be less likely to fall into a relationship that's abusive or like toxic or whatever, because you're gonna have higher standards. Does that make sense, Papa? All right, glad. Ben MJ says Johnny should have married Winona Reader. I wish there was more women in the comments. Not that I don't appreciate the comments, but this is literally advice for women. Thank you, Rosemary. Rosemary says women are more emotionally and psychologically open compared to men. Yeah, and like you need to be able to open up to people emotionally, because otherwise you'll get depressed. And I think it's all parenting. Like, parents don't teach their sons that it's okay to cry and it's okay. And like, I'm not trying to be like, you know, this isn't like some kind of third wave feminism thing. This is life. It's okay for men. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't make you transgender if you have feelings and you're a human and you have emotions. It makes you a healthy human being. You know what's not healthy? Not talking about your feelings and emotions, not being aware of them, and being taught from a young age that you have to just shove it all down and just be unemotional. Because guess what? You're not going to be unemotional. The thing that's going to happen is that when you're feeling sad, your mind is not going to recognize it, because your mind has been trained to not recognize feelings. So your body is going to recognize it. You're going to start getting sick and sick from stress, because they're not able to process it in their emotions, because they have been trained from a young age to not do that. And usually it's guys that get sick from, you know, stress and things like that. You know, all kinds of like bodily issues. So Kevin says, as a man, I refuse to display emotions of any kind. Remember in T1. Dove says, when the Miron tragedy happened, I lost a friend there and cried like a baby for a full day straight. Yeah, that would, I mean, that's awful. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that happened. And that's like, that's good. That's good that you cried about it. It's, and sorry, not to dunk on Kevin, but a lot of guys that I know will say that and are proud of it. I don't know if you're like, I don't have any emotions, or I don't cry, you know, crying is for losers or whatever. And they'll say that and they'll be proud of it, and they'll kind of expect you as a girl to be impressed by it. And I'm sure some girls are impressed by it, but that's not healthy. Like, the same way it's not healthy to just allow women to be like total psychos just because they're women. It's not healthy to it's not healthy to like force guys to be like emotionless robots. Nate says women want men to show their emotions and speak up about it, but then they lose respect. Can't have it both ways. I hear that a lot. I hear that. I don't know. It depends on the woman. I usually, in the past, I have left many situations where I didn't feel like I can connect to a guy because like I just didn't feel like I can emotionally connect to a guy because he just didn't ever show emotions, and it was like it was really hard to. It's really like, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Maybe I wasn't able to emotionally like open the person up, you know what I mean? So like I'm not blaming it completely on the person, but I don't know, in the cases where men are like, oh, like women don't respect you when you show your emotions, I don't know, maybe your emotions are crazy, like maybe you're just being totally, maybe you're bottling it up, because this is another thing that I've seen a lot of, this is another thing that happens, not just guys, girls too, where I've seen, actually this happened with a lot of women also, yeah. So like, another thing people will do is that they will totally shove their emotions down, and they'll just keeping like this stoic face, no emotions, and then suddenly like all of it will pop out and it will be crazy, and then the other person loses respect for them, as is it happens when you suddenly like have a like a rage fit, like, and suddenly you go from being like emotionless, stoic, to like crazy because you were bottling so like wouldn't it be normal for someone to lose respect for you over that, you know what I mean? Like it would be they would have much more respect for you if you showed naturally, and like usually if you start to get in the habit. So another thing that happens when you start to get in the habit of showing your emotions more frequently, and like I know because this happened to me when I started going to therapy. I was seeing like a psychoanalyst who specialized in repressed like childhood memories. So she basically like would really dig into your psyche. She would dig into my psyche a lot. She asked like all these like really poignant questions and try to like find the sensitive issues that like really got me emotional. And when I started seeing her, I was like really emotional, and so I was getting used to becoming a more emotional version of myself, because before I had been kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't as emotional before, like I never cried. And then so when I started seeing this therapist, and she really opened me up and got me to talk about things more openly and be less ashamed, and like so I was constantly crying. I was constantly crying and being like really emotional. And yeah, like maybe people lost respect for me, but over time I started to feel, it's just in the beginning, like in the beginning when you're learning to become more emotional, because you've been holding back your emotions for so long. For a while, all your emotions are going to come out like crazy, and you're going to feel like a crazy person. But after a while, when all that stuff starts dying down, you start to feel more emotionally in control, and come out regularly. So you're not completely emotionless and then have rage fits, bursts, but it starts to become more regular, and you don't have the craziness. You just have a regular amount of, emotions that just come out all the time. Well, there's so much hating on therapists in this thread. You guys really had bad experiences with your therapist? Just no appreciation for a therapist. Kevin says part about expressing overt emotion as it is stating how you feel in a calm way. In my experience, that's what women appreciate, though it may elicit momentarily. Oh my gosh. So many bug bites. Nate says if you do not express your emotions, you will not be a psychopath. You can not hide it under the rug. That will eventually come out. So, you know, all right, so I'm just looking at some of the comments. Nate says, I have no problems connecting emotionally with a woman in a normal way, of course. I am out. Iron says, most people don't want to listen to your problems, best to keep quiet. Well, you can't go through life with that mentality. Maybe your mom didn't listen to your problems enough, you know, when you were little, and she made you think that nobody wants to listen to your problems. But the truth is that people do want to listen to your problems. That's how people connect. That's how you won't be lonely. You won't feel lonely. Is, you know, maybe not 24/7, but the way that people connect is by opening themselves up and like communicating. And if you have that mindset, you believe that nobody wants to listen to you, you're always going to be like isolated, and that's not a way to live life. I mean, that's why men have a shorter lifespan, as someone said earlier. Like, it's just a fact. You need to connect with people. You need to like open up. You can't just like, you know, you can't just accept like, oh, well, nobody wants to hear my problems. Nobody wants to see me being emotional. Well, if you try, you know, like, people don't want to see you crazy. That's what they don't want to see you. And even in that case, you need to let it out. Because the more you let it out, the less crazy you'll be, because you'll be more in control of it. Thank you so much, Kevin, for the super sticker. Nate says, when I tried to tell my mom that I was depressed, she instantly shut me down and told me to pray. I never told her what I was feeling again ever after that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nate. That's not how it should be. Moms should, like, encourage moms to, like, talk to them about their problems. I don't know. I think women, a lot of people are just so socialized by this idea that I mean, and the idea of strong that they have, they should just, like, you know, like, suck it up and not have any kind of emotions, and like, I don't know, they make their boys grow up to believe that kind of thing, and it becomes harder to connect with women, unless a woman is fine with not connecting with you, and then you kind of recreate the relationship that your parents had. I would be way too depressed to stay in that kind of relationship. But I don't know about other women. I think a lot of women have accepted the idea that, like, you know, all men are just gonna be, you know, all men are emotionless, and that's not true. And they don't have to be. So, and not to dunk on, like, stoic people in general. I feel like I'm stoic. I mean, I've been told that I'm like, I see time. a bad thing either. It's not even about like being more emotional or less emotional. It's just trying to be aware of your emotions and like just let them out in a healthy way, and like don't listen to anybody who says your feelings are not good and you have to like control them or something. Kevin says, I think women like a degree of stoicism. Yeah, like maybe like emotional, I don't know. Nate says, we can't be afraid of women who think we are beta if we show our emotions. If they really believe that, then that relationship is not meant to be. Yeah, like I said, showing emotions and not being in control, like being totally emotionless and then totally losing control of your emotions, you know, being totally emotionless, you know, 90% of the time, and then 10% of the time losing control of your emotions is not attractive to women. The reason why women, as you say, are attracted to stoic men, it's not about the stoicism, we are attracted to, you know, men that we can lean on. So it's really hard to lean on someone that is not in control of his emotions. And the same with men. Men don't like crazy psycho women. And you shouldn't, and so people should have a higher standard for the men and women that they're with. Like a woman. Women, you know, should not have to like force themselves to try and have a relationship with a man that is totally emotionless or not in control of his emotions. So, Iron says, women, whether they like to admit it, want a dude mostly made up of alpha traits. Stoicism is one of them. Again, what I said is not, and this is not mutually exclusive. It's like stoicism, like what you guys are describing, a lot of what I'm hearing is like, you know, men being totally emotionless, and then because they're just controlling and bottling up their emotions so much, these emotions coming out like randomly, and it scares women. So just let your emotions out. Go to a therapist. A therapist can help you become a more emotionally attuned person. And the therapist is not going to make you into a beta. If anything, the therapist will make you into more of an alpha, because you'll have your emotions and your feelings. Alright. Kevin says, are aliens fake? Aliens. Just the topic I wanted to think about. I actually don't know if aliens are fake, but I do think there's probably, you know, like a ton of life on other planets that we don't know about, because those planets are just so far away. So there's probably all kinds of life on, and yeah, there's probably aliens. I think aliens are totally real. I don't know if they came to planet Earth yet or whatever. I think there's like this whole conspiracy. Everyone knows that aliens are real, and they actually have some aliens hidden up in Ohio, and only the president knows about them, and he's not allowed to tell anybody else, but he knows that there's aliens here in the United States hidden, and they're just not telling people because they don't want us to freak out. Honestly, If aliens got to planet Earth, I do think we would know about it. And I also like, yeah, I think like aliens are real, but I don't think that the Pentagon knows about it. And like, I don't think the aliens are here. You went to Area 51 once. Nate says, Pardes, Iran has a new president. Are you excited? I have not been following Iranian politics at all. So I have no idea. Iran can do... By the way, I learned a few fun facts about Iran. First of all, in Iran, it is actually hard to be a woman. Like, they will try to screw you over if you're a woman. First of all, you can't go outside without a male guardian. You have to wear, like, a hijab, like a scarf. And you need a male guardian to go outside. And he can't be your boyfriend. Like, you have to be married to him. He has to be, like, your husband. Another thing, or your father. Another thing is that, did you know that in Iran... men can have up to 4 wives and up to 16 temporary wives. The only catch is that they just have to pay like alimony for you if you get a divorce, and they have to, like financially support you and everything. But yeah, if you can afford it, like up to 4 wives, up to 16 temporary wives. And they also, where the woman is not allowed to say if she wants to get a divorce, only the man is. I'm just glad I don't live in Iran. Alright, let's see. Jason says, nice to see you, birthday girl. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. My birthday is June 27th, so in 5 days. And I think my Hebrew birthday just passed. So thank you. Thank you so much. Prodigal Heel says maybe a... Haha. Aww. Thanks for super chat, Prodigal Heel. It's not my birthday today, but it's in 5 days. But thank you so much, Prodigal Heel. I really appreciate that. I will take that as my birthday gift. And thanks, Jason. Joe says, what's a temporary wife? A temporary wife, not your first choice, but you're glad they're there. So temporary wife is a wife that you, under Islam, you can have like a temporary wife that you just marry on the spot for the purpose of like sleeping with them for however long you want to sleep with them. And then when you are tired of sleeping with them, you like unmarry them, you like get a divorce. And it's all the guy's choice. Like, women don't have the right to do any of that. Actually, I think it's punishable by death for women. And by the way, like, Judaism is like this too. It's just not enforced. And I don't know about Christianity, but like the Old Testament, according to the Old Testament, like, adultery is like, there's pretty serious consequences for adultery. But it's only adultery if a woman does it. It's not if a man does it. So this is why I have my opinions about religion. Let's see. Alright. Haha, Josh says she knows when to be serious, but she also knows when to parties. Alright. Nate says, it seems that Iranians are brilliant people in medicine and science, so how the hell are they allowing fundamentalists to rule over them? Yeah, I think it's pretty sad. But the being smart in science and medicine and whatever, I mean, that's like a cultural thing. That's been there for a long time, like a really long time. So I think, Sharia law has been there for a less long time, but is still like ideology right now in the Middle East. So it doesn't matter like where it is, it's just a more dominant ideology wherever you go in the Middle East. It's natural that it's going to be like that in Iran too. But I think it's sad. I mean, I do think Iranians culturally are like some of the coolest people ever. Like the whole like women's rights thing. I mean, I'm not being like a feminist, I'm being like a human. Like, feminism is like, oh, like women, tampon tax, whatever. Like, no, like the way that women are treated in Iran, it's not like you're not being a feminist. You're being a human if you like are like bothered by it, I think. For me, that's what I think. Anyway. Let's see. Nate says a woman in Iran was raped and she received the death penalty. They buried her and had her head sticking out and stoned her. Yep. Yeah, like there isn't really grounds for like a woman to say like, no, I didn't. And by the way, culturally, it's like this too, where like a woman can't really come out and say like she was raped or abused, because she'll just be blamed for being a whore. Because women, well, the men can really do whatever they want. They can like rape everybody. And there's like nothing wrong about it according to religion. Like, apparently God is just a total monster. Allah is a total monster, but God also, I mean, the Old Testament is also very lenient. The Torah is pretty lenient on men compared to women with, like those kind of, not rape, but like, in general, like women will, Sota is very, if you've ever learned about the laws of Sota, if, according to the Torah, the Old Testament, in biblical times, like if one suspected one of his wives, because they had multiple wives. So if a man suspected that one of his wives was cheating, he would take her to the local, like the Sanhedrin, and like it was like, these judges, and they would ask her if she's guilty or not guilty. She would say, if she was guilty, she'd be punished. If she was not guilty, if she said she's not guilty, in order to check if she was lying, if the husband said no, she's lying, they would give her like this thing to drink. It was I don't remember. Whoever has learned Sota recently, please chime in. You're probably gonna try to defend it. But she would drink something, something that they created, like a water that was blessed with the name of God, and that was like they put the name of God in the water, and she drinks it. It's like a truth serum, so she drinks it. If she was telling the truth, she gets saved. Oh, and they would like uncover her hair, and they would shame her in the public square, whether or not she did it, actually. and they would shame her in the public square. And so if she was telling the truth, she would be saved, and she would be blessed with 7 sons. By the way, that was that. And then if she wasn't telling the truth, her body would just explode in the public square, and she would just die a degrading death of explosion in the public square. And that's the laws of Sota. So, just put it out there. But yeah, like the way that people treat women and vulnerable creatures, I can't believe I just said women and vulnerable creatures. The way that people treat women in the name of God is just so disgusting. That was one of the reasons why I stopped being religious. It's just I don't want to be a feminist. I don't want to be I'm not gonna do like a women's march and champion abortion rights and do carry a rainbow flag and put a pink cap on my head that has ovaries sticking out of it, and I'm not gonna do all that stuff and try to push for equal wages and a tampon tax and all these things. I'm not gonna do all that stuff, but I'm also not gonna be religious and subject myself to doctrine that doesn't why should I? Anyway, Nate says doctrine that disadvantages women. There's no point. I could do whatever I want in the real world. By in the real world, I mean without having this religious limitation in my brain. I can do anything in the real world. I can go out, I can make money and do whatever I want, without that. And whatever. Anyway, so Nate says, at this point, I have no idea why Jews live in Iran. There's actually a Persian Jew serving in the Iranian parliament and opposes Israel. They probably don't oppose Israel. They probably just do that because they have to, because that's the way that they are in Iran. Everyone opposes Israel in Iran. I have, even when I was little, Persian Jews, when they leave Iran, if you ever met a Persian Jew that from Iran, that especially after the revolution, they're very private about being Jewish. First of all, they tend to be private about being Jewish, unless they're if you meet them in the United States. The United States is a very open, religious freedom is a thing. They're very open, accepting, so they might not be like that in the US. But right when they leave, they're gonna be more private about being Jewish. They won't wear a kippah. They won't advertise being, and when they say the word Israel, they will whisper it. They'll say Israel, because they don't talk about Israel in Iran. And I have cousins there right now. If you try to talk to them about Israel, they will just ignore you. They'll change the subject. That's culturally how it is. So I don't really know if the person that works in the parliament that's Jewish is actually anti-Israel. Doesn't matter, because they're gonna have to talk like that anyway. Ira says she went feminist. Rosemary says there are plenty of civilized cultures that worshipped and adored virtuous women. I think America's great for women. I'm happy to be an American woman. I feel free. I feel like I could do whatever I want. People, if anything, here in America, it's harder to be a man, not harder to be hard to be a woman. It's not hard to be a woman. It's hard to be a man. I mean, it's hard. It's, you know, it's hard to be a woman for other things, but that's not America. That's just being a woman. Like, you know, getting your period sucks. So a good spurg. What's a good spurg? Ira says, I don't know what's going on. Just read this title and spurged. I'm glad to fill your spurging needs. Spurg away. Prodigal Heel says, I wouldn't fit in. I have too many opinions. Asperger's. Haha. Nate says Judaism is a weird world. I just discovered open Orthodox and they... Yeah, that's a thing. People are always like, well, you didn't have to leave Judaism fully. You could have, like, left Orthodox Judaism and, like, become modern Orthodox or conservadox or reform. But to me, like, Orthodox Judaism is the way that Judaism has always been. At least the closest, not even exactly, but Orthodox Judaism is the closest. That's what Orthodox means. Like, Orthodox Judaism is how Judaism was created to be. Why would I leave Orthodox Judaism and become part of a knockoff version of Judaism that was created in modern times to make Judaism more palatable to the modern woman or whatever? Like, why would I do that? Leftist, like, I might as well just become Buddhist, or I don't know, like, I might as well make up my own religion. Like, why would I? Like, if I'm gonna be Jewish, if I'm gonna practice Judaism, I'm gonna practice Orthodox Judaism, because that's how Judaism was created to be practiced. I'm not gonna practice fake Judaism, waste all that energy. Josh says you're actually a good role model for women, Pardes. Thank you so much. Also, like, I will say, for all this, like, criticizing, for all this preaching, have really been, I have had a lot of crazy moments, and, like, if you're someone watching this who has been victim of my craziness, like, I'm sorry. I know Jason is one of them. I'm really sorry. Like, I recognize craziness. I have, you know, like, yes, I have been crazy. So, like, I'm not speaking from a place of, like, high and mighty. I'm speaking from a place of, like, I get you, and let's all, like, I don't know, care about our mental health. Let's see. Iris says, Pardes, if I dated a Jewish girl, could I even tell the difference? I don't know. There's some stereotypes about Jewish women. Jewish girls are awesome. Like, you know, Jewish women are stereotypically gonna be more expressive. They're gonna be more emotional than, like, other women. They're gonna be very bubbly and very social. That might just be because they're like, just being part of a Jewish community. They're just growing up around a lot of what? Yeah. So that's, like, another thing. They also tend to be more traditional, I think. So, a lot, I mean, I don't know, the Jewish women that I grew up around are gonna be, like, you know, cooking and stuff like that, housewives. I don't know, actually. That's not because there's a lot of Jewish career women nowadays. So, I don't know. I guess stereotypically Jewish women are just gonna be more, like, involved in your life and just very, very, you know, just talking a lot, very like in your face, very, they just like, you know, very social. They're like, there's John Mulaney, I think that was his name. Yeah, John Mulaney, the comedian, did a bit about having a Jewish wife. His wife, he's like Catholic, Irish Catholic, and his wife was just like Jewish lady from New York. And he would do this bit about how his wife was like, how like he and his wife were so different, because like if his stomach hurt, he just like wouldn't tell anybody about it, and his wife would be like, my stomach hurts, and like everyone would know about it. Like she was just like really open about like if she liked him, she would just like straight up tell him like, I like you, and just very expressive and in your face. And like Jewish moms are known to be like that too, just like very, very blunt. Like if you're fat, they'll tell you to your face that you're fat, that you're getting fat, stuff like that. So that's a stereotype, but obviously stereotypes are not applicable to everybody. Ricardo says, what is your opinion on hookup culture? Do you think is because the West promoting women to be promiscuous? Hookup culture, I think hookup culture maybe is the result of porn, I think, because like it's just like instant gratification. Like man, sorry about that. Things keep popping up on my screen and then I keep like trying to move them away, and then I end up clicking them by accident. I don't know. I'd have to think about the hookup culture thing. Another live stream about hookup culture. I'd have to think about like what the problem is and whatever. Kevin says, it's hilarious to me that Mulaney was once addicted to booze and coke. He seemed so straight-laced. Yeah, it's not surprising to me at all. People who have trouble, another fun fact, people who have trouble, people who have trouble expressing their emotions and connecting with other people, which tends to be mostly guys, are also going to be more prone to addiction to booze and coke. That's just the way it is. So, like, when people train their boys to be emotionless and shove their emotions down, they're training their boys to be future drug addicts and alcoholics. Fun fact. Josh says, I honestly don't think promiscuity has anything to do with a woman's character. If a woman is kind to people and helps her community, I could care less how many people she slept with. I don't make an idol out of sex. Yeah, good for you. And yeah, you shouldn't. Like I like guys that have slept with a crazy amount of women, and it's usually those guys that have slept with a crazy amount of women that will be like, I only want to marry a virgin woman. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you slept with like an army of women, and it's so disgusting to you to be with a woman that has never slept with anybody but you. Like, that's like psychopathic to me, but to a lot of people it seems like it's like a normal thing, I guess. Prodigal Heel says, you gotta see the Crowder H3H3 debate. Okay, I'm gonna watch it. That's actually so cool that they got together. That's such a weird duo. Josh says, if she's sleeping with other people's boyfriends, then it's a problem. But if she's young and partying, I don't care. Yeah, I agree with you. Kevin says, did Crowder storm off or what? I want to watch that. 1 second. Josh says, one second. I keep like reading the comments out of order. Nate says, let's face it, marrying a virgin woman would be awful. I don't know about that. Virgin, then you probably want to marry a virgin, you know? If you're not a virgin, I don't know. It depends. Like, I guess everyone's different, but I'd imagine people want to be with people that are like kind of similar to them a little bit. You can relate more easily. Ira says, in my early 20s, I kept finding myself in conversations where a girl would tell me when she lost her virginity, and every single one said 14. I was really surprised by that. Wow, who are these 14-year-old girls sleeping with? That's, man, I can't imagine. When I was 14, oh my God. Like, I'm kind of glad I was kind of sheltered. I don't know. Jason says, oh yeah, what I was talking about earlier, the guys that's sleep with like a crazy amount of women and then want virgin women, like that's called narcissism. Yeah, and it's just like, and then some guys will be like, but you know, that's just that's expected, you know, it's just natural for us to feel that way. Like, girls shouldn't, it's not natural for girls to have slept with anybody, but it's natural for us to sleep with a million people. And it's like, when people are talking like that, I'm just like, when people talk like that, I just listen and I'm like, oh my God, like, totally gotcha. And then I just like, whatever. Like, I don't even argue with those people because whatever. And like, I don't even want to get into like the whole weeds of what they're saying. Kevin says, in Japan, women literally cannot get men to sleep with them. They're all dating electronic Pikachus and stuff, like robots. Oh yeah, I heard that. Apparently in Japan, because that's the thing. It's like also with like porn and stuff like that. Like, because there's less incentive to like actually try to make a relationship work in order to get sex, because you can get sex without trying to make a relationship work. So and the thing is that like people think that that's a better thing, but ultimately that's not better for anybody because you need a relationship in order to be mentally healthy, and that's something that are not taught from when they're little. They're taught that emotions are bad, and your emotions specifically are bad. Like, you can't have emotions, and part of being in a relationship is like, you know, like someone being there for you to like take care of your emotions. If they're not gonna be able to take care of, what's the point of being with them? Like, I would totally understand in that case why you would only want a sexual, like a physical relationship, or you'd only want like a robot to hook up with rather than a human that you have to deal with their emotions, but you can't show yours. I mean, that seems really one-sided. So I would totally understand why a guy would not want to be in a relationship in that case, if someone else's emotions are being taken care of and his aren't. Prodigal Heel says, how about a guy who slept with a lot of women, but it wasn't necessarily the goal? Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm not like dunking on those guys. Just like the guys that are like, that think it's like disgusting for a woman to have slept with anybody, but they like sleep with like a ton of women. So let's see. Groundhog says, sounds like I should plan a trip to Japan. That sounds really lonely. Like, do you, but it sounds lonely and sad and depressing to me as a girl, but also as a human. Like, I can't imagine men or women being happy that way, like, you know, having a relationship with like, your relationships with women have to be you, and the women in your life must have really done a number on you to, okay, I would rather have a relationship with Pikachu. That's sad, and you shouldn't accept that. You should raise your standard for women. You should not put up with crazy psycho women. You should have like really high standards for the kind of women that you date, and only date women that fill your emotional needs and aren't psycho. And don't succumb to Pikachu, because like, yeah, anyway, Pikachu's dead. Okay. Groundhog's like, whoa, who said anything about a relationship? Dude, a relationship with Pikachu is not, you know, you can, it's for life. You don't you're not gonna have any issues. All right. Prodigal Heel says, I don't even know I'm in a relationship when I get into a relationship. I'm always the last to know. Oh man. I don't know. I think the idea of relationship is arbitrary, and it's so like, everything is a relationship. Whether or not it's like a committed relationship, there's no such thing. It's like everything's, you know, it's all just people moving in and out of each other's lives. Unless it's like a formal, official thing, like marriage or whatever. Alright, okay, I have to go. It's like been almost an hour and a half. Whoa, I'm really thankful for anyone who's like still stuck around. Thank you, really, for watching this. What was the point of this video anyway in the first place? Oh, it was like how to win as a girly girl. Wow, I ended up not talking so much about women. Should I talk more about women? I'm gonna make like an edited video. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. For women. Let's see. Iris says, how long do you think it will be until they create robots or some type of synthetic humans that become common substitutes for natural human partners? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, because they're trying to like limit the amount of humans that are created because of population control or whatever. But that would be sad, and don't give in to that. I mean, just have really high standards for women. Stop babying women. Stop coddling like women that don't deserve your pity. Like, I will use the crying card very generously. Like, if I'm pulled over and I don't want a cop to give me a ticket, I'll like puppy dog eyes, and I'll pull every girl trick in the basket or whatever. But like, don't fall for that. Like, I'll do it because I'll get out of a ticket or get what I need done, get the job done, but you don't have to put up with it. And if a guy doesn't put up with it when I do it, it's not gonna make me go crazy, because at the end of the day, I understand, like, this is deception. This is taking advantage of being a woman. It's fine. Do it. But don't get mad if a guy doesn't fall for it. And also, if you're a guy, don't fall for it. So just, like, don't baby women. Don't just you know, same standards. Don't, you know, and maybe you can if it makes you feel better, but don't, and that's not, that's like harmless, but if it gets to be toxic, yeah, like, do not put up with anybody psycho, men or women. Alrighty. Pardes, what's for dinner? Oh man, I wasn't even thinking about dinner. Nate says, I cried to a cop and he gave me his number. Very awkward. That is hilarious. Oh my god, there's bugs here. Okay. Alright. Thanks guys. Have a great time. Thank you for watching. Ira says, I'd give you a ticket. I'd throw you in the clink. Isn't that a British way to say prison? Are you British? Prodigal Heel says, it's instinctive for men to protect women. Yeah, I know. And so, yeah, do it if it makes you feel good, but don't put up with the toxic side of it. Anyway, this video. See you later, Nate. That was a great chat. Thank you. Thanks. I haven't already, but you probably have already subscribed. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. So, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. And, yeah, have, like, a really delicious dinner and stuff. Bye.